this episode of Eric Mintel Investigates, lead investigator Eric Mintel, spirit medium Dominic Sittel, and Chris Barrett from Pocono Television descend on the Candle Shop at the Poconos in Swiftwater, Pennsylvania. What will the team uncover on this episode of Eric Mintel Investigates, the haunted Candle Shop of the Poconos? My name is Eric Mintel. By night, I'm a professional jazz musician. But by even later at night, I investigate the paranormal. I, along with my team at Eric Mintel Investigates, travel the country, investigating all things paranormal. This is Eric Mintel Investigates.
And we're back. This is exciting.
We're back again. So we're going up to the haunted candle shop of the Poconos. We're going to meet Chris Barrett up there from Pocono Mountain Tourism Bureau.
Awesome.
Dom is following us up because we're actually following him.
Right.
But he's got another couple of cases to work on after this today. This place is really interesting because Dom doesn't know this, but it was one of the very first places, actually the first place where the smallpox vaccine was created. The vaccine was experimented on primates.
Wow.
What did Dom say when we met him this morning?
Which I wasn't going to say anything because I knew, where we were going and you had informed me, but not informed him. And he started talking about, he keeps seeing gorillas, monkeys.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I'm not saying anything because I knew he liked to leave that up to Dom
and that was
to
cool.
Sense things on his own and not give away too much.
So I'll be interested to see how he's going to, what he's going to tune into up here. Linda at the candle shop, she's so cool, has heard like pitter-pattering going on up in the attic. It's really interesting, man. So we're going to have a really good time here. The other thing, which is so cool, they're taking us to the graveyard where the doctor and his wife, who actually worked on this vaccine, are buried, along with the gorilla that they actually experimented on going to the graveyard.
So they're buried with the gorilla.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I can't wait to meet her.
It's going to be awesome. So let's hit it.
Let's
get up there, man.
Let's go.
Let's go.
We arrived in the early afternoon and met Linda Schlier, owner of the Candle Shop.
Linda.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
you?
Eric Mintel, how are you? Nice to
Good.
meet you.
How are you guys?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Linda Schlier from the Candle Shop of the Poconos in Swiftwater, Pennsylvania. I've been in the candle industry almost my whole life, since I was 8 years old. My family had a candle shop in East Stroudsburg for over 50 years, so it's kind of in my blood. So we manufacture all our candles here in the Pocono Mountains. This beautiful building, this brownstone building, built in 1897. And I would say, wow, that would make a beautiful candle shop. And a month later, there was a key taped in a card and it said, go build your dreams, honey. There's 2 attractions in one here at the Candle Shop of the Poconos. We have a biological research hospital in the basement, which you need to come see.
Well, I know already Dominic is tuning in on some really crazy stuff here that, I know about. That you kind of alluded to, but I know as we get further and further into this and some of the other areas, I'll be interested. I know as soon as we got together this morning, he already had said something about primates. And this was one of the the place that the smallpox vaccine was created, right?
Correct.
Dr. William Redwood Fisher was a medical researcher and partner in Pocono Biological Laboratories, known for developing vaccines for smallpox, yellow fever, and the flu. Along with his partner, Dr. Richard Slee, this company later became the vaccine manufacturer Sanofi, manufacturer of the first COVID-19 vaccines. The Fishers used to live right here at the Candle Shop at the Poconos. So Linda's telling me some incredible information here. I mean, I can't wait to get started on this investigation. As we made our way through the twisting tunnel of terror, we entered the Biological Research Center where the energy reached an all-time high. What was Dominic tuning in on? And what secrets would they reveal? Suddenly, we were greeted by a very familiar figure in the Poconos.
So, yeah, this is pretty interesting stuff.
I mean, are you... Oh my God, Chris, how you doing?
Linda, my favorite. How are you guys?
He knew you
I
were
knew.
coming.
How are you guys? It's so good to see you guys. Linda, it's good to see you. This is one of the really coolest attractions here in the Poconos, and after we did the first one, now I know we have a series of things coming.
Yes.
This is just one of the things we had to see. The Schleers do a great job. They're a big part of the fabric here in the Poconos.
Oh,
so
your story is incredible, man. I mean, it's
the
incredible.
history alive, which is awesome. So glad you guys came back. Glad we have Linda.
So, Linda, we're part of the tour now, right? That
We
you guys
are.
do here.
We
How
are.
does that work? How do you?
So you can get tickets online at mycandleshop.com. We're open Thursday through Monday, all season long.
Wow.
Yeah, and October there'll be extra dates for, of course, Halloween.
So it's Halloween all year long.
Yeah, Halloween all year long.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
I know we still have a lot more to look at and a lot more to know because we're not telling him anything, but we also have to go up to the attic.
Which that's going to take a little courage.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And all of the artifacts that were found on the property is amazing. Oh, and the cemetery. Yes, the cemetery too. Oh my God.
Well, when I told you when we met up before we came up here, I was picking up that there were chimpanzees and orangutans, and they were just running amok. So they were like out of their cages, just running around. I didn't understand why I was getting that. So now that I'm here, I understand. Did they actually keep some of these as pets?
So they did. The last two primates lived in this store till 1963. Those little monkeys lived like 25, 30 years. The sisters had the last two, and they lived here. They were both seamstress, and they did stuff up in the attic and all over the place, and those monkeys just were freely ran through the house.
There's a lot more here. There's a ton of layers, like an onion. There's a lot of things that are going on, testing on the animals, and people didn't like that. Society pulled away from the family.
I mean, this place is huge.
Yeah,
I mean, we didn't
it's
realize
big.
how big it
It's
is.
big, yeah.
So we're going to the attic.
We're going to the attic.
We're
and
going to the
that's
attic.
Lots of stuff up
Chris,
there.
we're going to the attic.
The basement, not the attic.
If it's not the
Yeah.
attic, it's the attic.
Yeah.
I'm such a dumbbell. Anyway, really, really happy to have Eric and Dom back and in this investigation, because in the Pocono Mountains, we know that there are a lot of things that we can't explain. And we wanted to look into that deeper to find out why there are certain things that we can't explain, but that they're really compelling. And Dom made some comments. Society had somewhat ostracized these folks for some of the things that they were doing in the testing with animals. But there were some significant scientific finds which are kind of interesting. And I wanted to kind of dig in with Dom a little bit more what spirits are telling him as to how the family, when they went into town, when they went into Stroudsburg, when they went into Tannersville, when they did their business, how it was reacted to. And it's interesting that decades later, there still is a business here that is a descendant of this work. Sanofi, which is a major vaccine manufacturer across the United States. In fact, they manufactured the COVID-19 vaccine. Very, very interested to find out in this investigation what spirits are saying to Dom, how the family was treated in that time period. That's interesting stuff.
We're in Swiftwater, Pennsylvania, investigating the spooky goings-on at the Candle Shop at the Poconos.
The animal testing, why he did it was he was tired of seeing people suffering because of the different diseases, and he had the knowledge to create something, but he didn't have the subjects to do it. So that's why he was testing on the animals. Back in the 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s, that was more acceptable to a point, but people were figuring out that it was animal cruelty what he was doing, and that's why they were ostracized. That's why they pulled back.
They made some pretty significant scientific finds with vaccines.
Yeah, I mean, there is still some testing on animals, but not nearly what he was doing here. There were hundreds of these animals down here. Hundreds.
Wow.
Not just like under 10. There were hundreds.
Wow. They weren't really the pillars of society because of what they
were
did.
doing.
So how did that make them feel? I mean, because they were doing something that was really pretty substantial scientifically.
Scientifically, he thinks what he was doing was for the good. He's very proud of that fact that he was able to do that. The way he went about it, people didn't like. He was okay with it because he knew for the greater good this has to be done.
As a spirit, he could see into today.
Yes.
What has descended from what he did.
Correct.
Wow.
Some of the vaccines didn't work, obviously, and the animals died. But that's why he had so many, and he had a surplus of them coming in.
And do you get anything else? Not only this building, but just anything from around this
Yeah.
area.
This whole area, he was basically by himself out here. He had a lot of property. There wasn't a lot of people around him. But he did have employees that came in to help out, hold the animals so he could test and do everything that he needed to do.
Are the spirits telling you, how did he become interested in this type of work?
You know, as a doctor, as a scientist, he was always curious, even as a little boy, you know, growing up. And he would find tadpoles and wanted to know why it started growing legs. And he was, you know, genetics wise, why this was happening. And, you know, he was just always fascinated by that. He had a drive for it.
With the conclusion of the tour, I went upstairs and met with Ronnie, who told me an incredible story. Ronnie, so you work here.
Yes, I do.
Tell us that story that something happened with a key?
There was a key found upstairs on the attic floor. When I got done shop vac, about 24 hours later, there was a key on the floor. And nobody knows where it came from.
And nobody was up there?
Nobody was up there for the 24 hours that the key was up there found. And every so often, the key is on the shelf. You go up there in the morning, the key is on the floor.
We cautiously made our way up to the attic. So Linda, now that we're in the attic, obviously, but now you were told not to open up the attic?
Yeah, 2 ladies came in. They asked to see the attic. I said, sure. So back then, we used to come up through this little hole here on a ladder, and they got scared. And they came down and they said, never, ever open the attic for retail.
Wow.
Ever. There's no retail up here, so we opened the attic, and there's lots going on up here.
There used to be rooms up here. People lived up here and slept up here.
Okay.
There originally was stairs that came up, and I can see it where they used to come up, and they were living up here. Not in the summertime, it was unbearable, but they also had vents in the roof that they could open up to let the heat out.
They did.
Well, can I let you know a little secret
Yeah.
that I just found out about? The doctor's daughter lived up in this attic. Those are her shoes.
Almost immediately after Dominic entered the attic, a sharp headache came over him. It was clear the spiritual energies here were at an all-time high.
Dom, you okay?
Yeah, as soon as we came upstairs, my head started pounding. And, and again, Spirit is giving me truth. It's telling me what this was used for. She said that
They told me that it was a brothel at one time.
people were saying this was a brothel.
Were you getting that?
I wasn't getting the whole brothel thing. I don't think it was actually happening. I think there were suitors for the daughters, but there were multiple suitors for the daughters.
You getting any
But-
names or anything?
Let me work on that.
Okay.
Because I have a name, and I don't know whether it's the name for here or if it's just a name of somebody. But I am getting a Clara. So
Interesting.
So I'm going to try to get more.
Chris is blown away by this, man.
Yeah.
He has no clue. He had no clue that was like the brothel idea. Chris, brothel?
That's a
Did you know
shocker. No, I did not. That's a shocker to me.
Oh my God.
This is wild.
It was crazy. And then talk about the vaccine, right? That was created right down
Yeah.
the road here for the COVID. That blew me
It's
away.
right down the
It's
street.
right down the street. So let's go find Chris and Linda. I mean, Linda is like a
She's
wealth
blown
of
away.
information.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally blown away too. You know, Dom's saying that people lived up here. Obviously, they lived and worked
They
up
lived
here.
up here and worked up here,
And
right?
With these videos, with these investigations, you know, people pass by this place every day and have no clue of the history, the deep history of it.
Well, I think it's great
Check out, you know,
that Dom identified that came
Oh,
through
yeah.
him like very easily
Yeah.
when he came up here.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
What happened, Mike? I rounded this corner, and Grandma Betty scared the out of me. Look at her.
Hey, Dom, what is this thing? Because we were trying to figure that out.
This is a centrifuge.
Okay.
So basically they would take the vials and they would stick them in here on a plate. And then you would rotate this, and inside here is a device and it'll spin.
I see.
And it would separate the stuff.
Interesting.
That's what that's for.
As we explored, we discovered original documents from the early 1900s tied to the Fisher family and their work with new vaccines. Bottles, instruments, and pieces of medical equipment were uncovered during renovations on the property, silent remnants of a once bustling medical past.
Guys, I guess these are documents from obviously the 1900s, but are these from the government?
Yeah, this is like this letter here is from the Surgeon U.S. General of the Army. So
the dating's very interesting because right after the Civil War into the 1870s, into the 1890s, in that area of time, the U.S. Army was pretty constabulary, so it was just on our continent.
yeah,
Mostly. There were somewhere in Asia, but then Spanish-American War 1898, which makes sense.
yep,
Spanish flu.
Spanish flu started at a U.S. Army camp, supposedly.
yep,
What is amazing here is that this is it's preserved,
yes.
you know, and
This
here it
is
is.
a great part of history. It
Oh,
really is.
incredible, incredible. Right here in the Poconos, though. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's what people don't really realize,
Right.
how much history is here.
Oh, no
Yeah.
doubt, no doubt.
You know, we're known as a great resort destination, and I love that fact. But there's always there's so many other things that happen here like this.
Yeah,
Which
so
is
many
crazy.
elements, so many layers to the story, as you
And
said.
that's what I
you know.
said earlier. There's a lot of layers.
Yeah,
And it just amazes me that instruments that were found on the property.
yeah, buried on the property.
Buried.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
it's
like.
interesting.
Dominic and I met up with an old nemesis from another case.
Beast of Bray Road.
Unbelievable.
Beast of Bernathen.
Beast of Poconos.
So, downstairs at the counter, we hear this bouncing of a ball all the time. Like bouncing, bouncing. Well, here we found out that Dr. Fisher's son, 7 years old, passed away in the creek out back years ago. And I think his spirits are in here because it's only right here we hear the bouncing of the ball.
Ronnie told me something about the key. We were just up there, and something happened, and Mike caught it on camera. The daughter of the, whoa,
Don't worry about it.
Mike.
Yes, sir.
See that? Did you hear that?
What was that?
This just fell. That just fell.
There's a lot
As
going
far
on
as that goes.
upstairs.
Yeah.
A lot.
We're in Swiftwater, Pennsylvania, investigating the spooky goings-on at the Candle Shop at the Poconos. Next, we went to the gravesite of the Fisher family.
I called this medium from New York, and she was on the phone with me,
Okay.
and she told me to go to the Swiftwater Cemetery on Swiftwater Road, Lower Swiftwater Road, and we pulled up here, and she told me to turn right on the first Woods Road. This wasn't blacktop back then,
Okay.
20 years ago. And we came up through here, and she told me it was like 7, I don't know if she said blocks or whatever, but right there is Mr. Fisher's grave. They told us that it was the 2 daughters, the wife, Dr. Redwood Fisher, and the last 2 primates of his.
So the doctor's here.
Dr. Fisher, the primates,
Primate. That's crazy.
the wife, and the 2 daughters.
It's crazy why they would bury the primate next to the
Yeah, it
husband.
must have been his life, though.
This is not the primates, this is the son. I told these guys, but I didn't get to tell you. He fell down the hill, hit his head, knocked out, and rolled into the creek, which is why he drowned. I was saying to Chris when we were outside, walking back up from the creek, it wasn't a brothel. What it was he was enticing suitors to come in for his daughters. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. They grew up basically spinsters. They had a lot of money,
They were spinsters, all right.
but they didn't have anybody to share it with.
The mystery deepens.
Additional investigations will ensue.
It's a very good possibility that they're here,
Yeah.
that they're buried here,
Yeah.
but not as a marked grave.
Right, not as
Be-
marked grave.
Because of this being a cemetery and it's for humans,
Right.
they probably didn't want that.
I mean, so not the primates aren't here, it's the son.
This is the son.
And as always, this mystery deepens.
Oh,
Every
absolutely.
investigation, it blows me away because we think we're going to go into one thing
and it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
That it turns out.
And when Dom and I talked about the daughters and the son, and he said how the son, unfortunately, God forbid, passed away, one of the things I thought about, I want to go to the Monroe County Historical Society.
Yeah.
And see what I can find on the building itself, if there was anything in the paper at those time periods.
Okay.
Yeah.
We wanted to see what the building looked like too. I know you may have
It makes
some.
sense. Yeah, it makes sense. I have a feeling that we're going to be doing another investigation a little bit even deeper than this. There's just so much here. There's so many stories, like you said. It's like an onion. It's like so many layers.
Yeah.
We haven't even hit the scratch the surface.
No.
You feel a lot of sorrow from him because
Yes.
of his son?
I feel a lot of regret because of the family, just on the family side, not necessarily the development, using and testing the animals, but more for the family. That, you know, when he married his wife, he felt bad for her because she wanted a really good life. She had a really good life, but it was kind of tainted with the way he did things.
The history and the story here is incredible. I mean, what your family has done for this area is incredible. And we're so grateful to be able to get a chance to tell your story. I think we've only scratched the surface of the story. So I think we're going to have to probably come back and do another one. So if that's okay with you.
Of course.
And we may need you on our investigation because I have a feeling that you're connected to a lot of this stuff.
That would be fun, and I really appreciate it all.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And you know what they say, we're going to burn the candle at both ends to get to the answer.
Linda, did I tell you this is his last investigation?
You're out. You're out.
As we wrapped up the investigation, I knew we would be coming back sooner than later. We're in the beautiful Pocono Mountains in Swiftwater, Pennsylvania.
You know, everybody left, but Mike and I decided to come down to the creek and check it out. And right here, and you wonder why they call this Swiftwater, because look, here's an incredible, beautiful creek here. This is what Don was feeling, like the sun fell on these rocks, hit his head, and fell in this creek right here. Mike, what did she say about the horse bones?
She said that on the property there were thousands of horse bones found when they originally did some excavating of the land up there on top of the hill. We're down here, we haven't found any yet, but she said occasionally they will pop up with the erosion and things that are happening by the bed of the creek here. This has been a phenomenal investigation. So happy to be a part of this. Linda was amazing. Great to see Chris again too.
So we've got a lot more work to do on this. I know you hear me say that all the time, but seriously, we've got a lot more work to do.
We headed back to Bucks County with more questions than answers. Upon reviewing the documents, it was discovered that Dr. Fisher's son William Fisher was in fact buried next to him, not the primates as previously thought. However, while editing this video, I was given new information. We will reveal this information in part 2 of the Candle Shop of the Poconos. Next time on Eric Mintel Investigates. Eric Mintel and Dominic Sittel investigate the Old Jail Museum. Joining the team is President and CEO of Visit Poconos, Chris Barrett, and Old Jail Museum guide Blaine Dart. While on the investigation, Dominic tunes into something so heart-wrenching that turns the entire investigation upside down. In the dungeon, the team encounters otherworldly activity they weren't prepared for. Eric Mintel investigates the history and mysteries of the Old Jail Museum.